I'm in Statesboro, Georgia. We're doing the annual on my 1950 Navion, and I'm at the hangar of Dr. Rusty Harrington, who is quite the Navion guy. You can see most of you guys probably already know him, but we're in his hangar here. I think we have 4 Navions in here altogether. But we're working on my Navion. It's been pretty uneventful annual so far, but we've run across a problem with landing gear. Rusty, tell us what's going on here.
All right. The problem we have here is this is a torque tube that comes down from the rudder pedals connection that steers the airplane on the ground. And you push, this turns the mechanism, the whole wheel turns. But if you look, this is the bottom end piece, and I'll show you it disassembled in a few minutes. This is attached to this part with 2 tapered pins like this. Someone, we don't know who, has gone in and drilled this through and put an AN4 bolt in there. That may be a 5, that's an AN5 bolt through there. So the bolt will not lock it together, so there's no movement. So if you look very carefully right here, you'll see that the bottom moves when the top doesn't. So it'd be better if I had, there you go. You can see that this moves when this doesn't move. There's loose play there, and that can't be. That'll give you nose wheel shimmy and cause problems. And the longer it goes unaddressed or unrepaired, the worse it'll get.
Yep.
Now, the fix is we have to drop the landing gear out of the airplane, remove this, take this off, this will slide out, and then we will put a replacement rod in that has not been drilled oversized, and we'll put 2 tapered pins in here, and that'll lock it all back together where it works. This is one of the things you find occasionally.
So what is it you're doing there, Rusty?
Now what I'm doing is I'm putting some color on here. The alignment's not quite where I wanted it, but you'll be able to see. So I've got a blue line at the bottom, and I've got a black line at the top. It's too late, it's on there, okay. That'll have to do. Now watch, if you watch this blue line and you watch the black line, you see the blue line moves when the black line doesn't.
Right.
That can't be.
Right.
That's just not allowed. It's got to be fixed. And you can see here, if I just do this, you can see that it's loose.
Yeah. Okay.
Now usually when you get nose wheel shimmy, this brass bushing is worn. Mm-hmm. One here and one at the top. Mm-hmm. But in this case, this connection is the problem.
Okay. Replacement parts here, the Rusty has sourced. We painted them last night and let them dry.
And it's hard to see in the video, but this hole is larger than this hole. Same thing. Mm-hmm. And so the tapered pins go through there and lock this collar on. This one's a matched set. These have to be matched, and you do that by assembling them and then reaming them. But this is the one that Blake's getting installed, and that's already match drilled. And you can see the tapered pin, and we'll put another tapered pin in here. This hole is obviously bigger than this hole, and that'll lock it all together, and there'll be no loose play. There's some now because the tapered pin isn't tight, but once we get it all set up, it'll be good. What I've done, I've taken this fixture I've got on my floor jack, and I use it to break the over center cam on the retract link, so the gear then will start to come back, and it takes the load off this bolt. Look right here very carefully. See that loose play? Mm-hmm. That happens every time you raise and lower the gear.
Right.
Shouldn't do that. That'll damage it. This all should be locked together tight so there's no movement there. That's no bueno. So what we've got to do is get the bolt out, and we got to take this loose to get the nose gear out anyway, so I can fix this part. But that's it. That's what I show you. I show you how usually that thing rotated.
Yeah.
No. You should have this thing cranked down more like this. Now there's no loose play.
Right.
See what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And we put it back together. This is how we'll do it. The loose play will actually damage this big bolt, which is all that holds your nose gear down. That bolt sells for about $45. It's expensive, but we have plenty, so that's not a problem.
You got the landing gear out? Rusty, tell us what's going on here.
Well, you know, we've got, this is the torque tube that we were showing you earlier with the loose connection at the bottom. So to get it apart, this has to slide out. So we take this handlebar off, which is actually a centering device to center the gears. It retracts so it's not sideways when it goes into the wheel well.
Right.
And then so we take these two bolts out, A and 4, A and 3, and then we take this out, and then this whole thing should just slide out of it.
Nice.
And of course I've got to take this off because we want to replace this part. So if I take this, looks like a 4, A and 4 bolt loose. A couple ways to do this with a cotter pin. One is to hold the bolt and just wring off the cotter pin because you're going to replace it anyway. One was to remove the cotter pin. All right, so this part.
What's wrong with this one, Rusty?
All right, this is the one that we were going to use, but when I got the end off, which actually looks pretty good, small hole, big hole, small hole, no, big, small hole, big hole, that's good. But when I got the end off, the hole is oblong.
Yeah.
This has been loose, it's been run loose.
Swallow it out.
And that's what causes that. And that, the one we took out, is here. And you can see that that hole is oblong. That hole is sort of round. And then this hole and this hole, well, they don't look too bad. That's where that straight bolt was. And
Yeah.
it has to be a tapered pin.
Yeah.
So if we take our tapered pin, okay, this is a tapered pin. Tapered because it's small on one end, big on the other. And it will go into, here's the big side. It will go into there only so far. And it locks everything together. Well, that hole, and you can see the loose play there. This could be reamed and made to work, so I could repair this one. But that hole, and the taper pin goes just about, well, it does, it goes all the way through.
Yeah.
And you can't use that. So the only way to repair this is to weld up
Yeah.
both sides and ream it again.
Yeah, we don't
We're
want
not
to
going to
do
use that. No, not today. Yeah, I had another one. All right. Now this one, if you look at the holes, small, big, and if I put the tapered pin in, it fits.
that. Yeah.
And the same thing, the top hole, small, big, and you put the tapered pin in, it fits.
All right, so what's the improvement?
Improvement here is that we now have some shoulder here, maybe a little bit more than I wanted, and some shoulder here just starting to come through. And that's blocked together tightly, and it's not pulled down really tight yet. And what we do is we get a, it's called a tapered pin washer, and see it's a cup. And that fits over the shoulder that comes through so that you can pull it down tight and snug it in. And I'll have the same issue, same deal over here. And you'll just pull it down tight and that'll pull it in. That ties it all together, no loose play, it won't wear. The other place these wear is right here where it rides in the bushing. And sometimes you'll see those worn and worn out. Top here, usually at the bottom because that's where the biggest part of the load is. We've painted this one already, but to get it through the bushings, I am probably going to have to strip the paint off to get it together. But that's it. So that's the repair.